Hi, welcome to the Machine Learning Training Module Workshop website. Thanks for visiting. In this short video, I'm going to go over some basic concepts in machine learning and teach you about the different basic kinds of machine learning. And then if you'd like to know more, then I encourage you to sign up for a workshop, and we'd love to have you. So again, in this workshop, we're going to go over major use cases for ML, learn the basics of ML, the major algorithms, success metrics, sample code and notebooks for chatbots, image classification, recommendation engines, and prediction. Now the goal isn't to learn how to code. The goal is to have an understanding of what some of the code looks like, what are some simple things you might be able to do to explore and manipulate the data. The purpose of this workshop is not to make you a machine learning engineer, but from a product perspective, just give you a little bit of understanding there. That's all. User research and user experience considerations, product management specific considerations, and you will scope and plan out a machine learning product as an exercise with a remote machine learning engineer and with a user researcher, which will be myself. I work in user research and product development for AI and other industries. So, this disclaimer, machine learning is not always a good idea. From the start, you have to consider, can you solve your use case with a set of simple rules? If the problem has a few number of features, statistical analysis may be enough. Can you get access to the data you would need to train your model? Is it essential your product have transparency in how it generates outputs? For example, compliance issues. Maybe you need to be very transparent to fit certain legal rules and requirements. If so, machine learning may not be the answer. We'll come back to the disclaimer at the end of the workshop if you engage in it. Let's go over some major machine learning use cases. Ranking and sorting choices, presenting things you might like, classifying something, predicting the value of something, grouping similar types of things together, finding things that stick out, and analyzing language. So for ranking and sorting, a good example is the Google search engine, ranking the different search results that you might come across. For presenting things you might like, a good example is Netflix. For example, you love dog movies, and Netflix recommends more dog shows to you, potentially. Classifying something. Is something a hot dog, or is it not a hot dog? Just like the popular Silicon Valley show-based app that Jing Yang devised. Predicting a value. For example, predicting stock market prices. Grouping similar things together. For example, Amazon. Grouping together different people who liked dog and cat books, and they give you books that are similar to that, potentially, like Pete the Cat. Some other things that don't necessarily make sense, but people like dog and cat things may like other kinds of things that are associated. Finding things that stick out, for example, Caitlyn Jenner's tweets that got retweeted a lot, and a lot of likes, and that'd be something that machine learning could help you detect, just like, for example, fraud detection. Analyzing language, for example, a chatbot analyzes your language in order to chat with you. For example, you're trying to make an order. And again, you could use it on Twitter for sentiment analysis, trying to figure out what tweets are most popular for example, presidential candidates. Okay, great. If this was the actual workshop, you would do a short exercise with your teammates. You would think about a use case that you want to solve for, as this workshop is designed to both teach you the basics of machine learning and help you conceptualize an actual product that you can maybe take back to your company or your startup. Let's go over the basic premise of machine learning. In general, we use training data to find patterns to make predictions and new sets of data using various training algorithms. Let's pretend we have a data set about dogs with 1,000 rows of data for each dog. So this is just an example of what those rows might look like. Also, this entire workshop is cat and dog themed as much as possible, because cat and dogs are wonderful and they're a great way to learn something that's complicated but accessible. Data sets are usually split into one set of training data for the algorithm, say 6,000 rows of dogs, one set of validation data to test out the trained model to fine-tune parameters that make the model more accurate, for example, 2,000 rows of dogs, and one set of testing data to see how well the trained and fine-tuned model predicts things, for example, 2,000 rows of dogs here. Let's go over some of the major types of machine learning: supervised learning, reinforcement learning, and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning: imagine a dataset for training where every instance of a cat or dog is labeled. The algorithm would learn from this labeled set, supervised learning, to recognize new objects as a cat versus a dog. So here you see the labels, and you see these adorable dogs and cats. Unsupervised learning. Now imagine a dataset for training where you have lots of different animals: dogs, cats, parrots, squirrels, giraffes, none of which are labeled. The algorithm clusters them into groups based on their features, but not based on any labels you gave the animals. This is unsupervised learning. Semi-supervised learning would be a dataset for training where some animals are labeled, dogs and cats, but parrots are not. This is semi-supervised because it's a mix of labels and not having labels. And reinforcement learning. Imagine a robot that tries out hugging a cat and gets scratched. It's like a penalty. And then he tries out hugging a dog and doesn't get hurt, like a reward. The robot can then learn what to hug or not this way, which is an example of reinforcement learning. So I hope you enjoyed this short primer of the workshop and you learned some basics. And if you'd love to learn more, we'd love to have you at the workshop, so please sign up below and have a wonderful day.